Ubisoft is being sued. Very, very funny. I love looking at stuff like this. Ubisoft, a company that has fallen so far, so goddamn far. This stuff is one of my favourite things to check in on, actually. The Ubisoft stock. Look at that. This is over 5 years, right? So, important to note, that's 5 years. But it's mad. It's mad how a company has fallen from grace, well, as biblically as Ubisoft has. You can see maximum, right? I mean, they're doing worse even than they were in 2008. Even as they were way worse than they were doing even in the year 2000. Madness. Madness. And across the 5 years, I mean, it's just brutal decline. Brutal. It's terminal. That's what it is. It's terminal. This company has cancer and it's terminal. They're not recovering from this. They never will. They'll never be able to. Ever. You know, when you start looking into like year to date, 6 months, things like, well, year to date looks good. But it's just the granular details of it. It's just so bad. And yeah, you look across a month, you're like, oh, it's done a little bit all right. It's like, this is terrible. The whole thing is just woeful. Again, remember, 5 years. The fall is mad. I honestly don't think I've seen a company fall as much as this. It is crazy. But anyway, so they're being sued, right? So as if their problems aren't enough just based on their stock. They're also being sued. And they're being sued by someone who used to work, with Assassin's Creed, right? So they're basically alleging a disguised dismissal. Now, what that is that he was dismissed for one thing, but actually what it was an effort to get rid of him so they didn't have to pay severance package. So it's quite an interesting one. But as you can see here, they're being sued and it's one of their own executives. So the French video game publisher Ubisoft, it's not a great deal of a lawsuit. And that's why I don't think it's massively frivolous, right? Like it's only 1.3 million. I mean, it's still a lot, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's not huge amounts. You'd think it would be higher if it was some kind of frivolous lawsuit just trying to get more money, but not that there's a hard and fast rule on that, of course. But anyway, that is being done by Mark Alexis Coate, who alleges that the company orchestrated what he describes as a disguised dismissal in order to avoid paying severance and keep a restrictive non-compete clause in place. Sorry about that. That's my dog. Non-compete clauses are an interesting one. I understand why they have them, but they should be illegal. And they are actually illegal in a lot of places because it stops you from working. Right? Like it just stops you from working. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I'm not a fan of them. I had one of them a long time ago, actually. I had a non-compete clause. It's when I worked in the States. But it was like an international... It was an international company, so it was not a hard and fast rule of like where the legalities lied. Interesting stuff. I didn't stick to it, obviously. Who the hell would stick to one of those? But it is interesting. It is an interesting one. So Coate, a Ubisoft veteran of more than 2 decades, formally departed the company in October 2025. And Ubisoft publicly characterised the exit as voluntary, but Coate argues it was anything but. So this is, it is an interesting one, right? Publicly they're like, yeah, it's fine, he's gone, voluntary. But he's like, no, actually it's not. I didn't know. I was forced out, basically. So, and he's been there for a long time, 20 years. So Coate's career at Ubisoft began on the technical side before he rose through the creative ranks. By 2010, he was deeply embedded in the Assassin's Creed brand, serving as lead level designer on Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Over time, he became game director on later entries and in 2020 was promoted to vice president and executive producer, effectively overseeing Ubisoft's most valuable franchises. I will say, fuck that guy, because he's destroyed the brand if he was involved creatively, right? He wasn't doing a great job, was he? Wasn't doing a great job, especially when you look at when was it 2020? 2020. I mean, you got the highs of 2021 and then it just went downhill. So yeah, he doesn't have much of my sympathy, to be fair. But Ubisoft began restructuring in preparation for a new internal subsidiary called Vantage Studios. The company claims it offered Coate a leadership role within the new entity. Ubisoft maintains that Coate declined the position and chose to pursue opportunities outside the company, but Coate is disputing that. And that's why Ubisoft is being sued, basically. So Coate alleges that the role offered at Vantage Studios lacked the scope, authority, and continuity of his previous position. I mean, you can't really blame him, to be fair, but alright. He claims the job would have placed him under another executive's authority and stripped him of meaningful control over the work he'd been doing for years. Again, not exactly great work. You know, not exactly stellar stuff there. Coate, but alright. So in the lawsuit, Coate characterises the offer as an unacceptable downgrade designed to force him out while allowing Ubisoft to label the departure as voluntary. By doing so, he alleges that the company avoided paying a severance package while still enforcing a non-compete clause that limited his ability to find new work in the video game industry. So he wants 2 years worth of salary and 75 grand in moral damages and removal of the non-compete clause. So basically 1.3 million. So it's interesting, isn't it? It's very, very interesting. So Coate's departure came during a period of significant internal change at Ubisoft. Vantage Studios was announced as a dedicated subsidiary designed to house Ubisoft's biggest franchises, including Far Cry, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. The initiative also includes outside investment tied to Tencent. Yeah, this is one of those things that it basically looked like an umbrella brand that they could just wrap up the IP in there and protect it from Ubisoft basically going bankrupt. That was effectively what that business restructuring was all about. So he was lucky to even get an offer, I think, to be fair, but all right. So as part of this restructuring, Ubisoft introduced what it described as a voluntary career transition program, offering certain employees the option to leave with financial and career assistance. Coate did not receive such a severance, a key point underpinning his lawsuit, which is interesting. Again, I mean, I wouldn't pay him a dime. Garbage work he's been doing. Garbage, mate. But I mean, they've been bad for years, so, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, the legal dispute also unfolds against the backdrop of workforce reductions. They recently laid off 55 employees at Massive Entertainment. They closed Ubisoft Halifax. So that was another 71 jobs just disappearing. Which is... yeah, that makes sense. It's all cost reduction because they just don't have the money because they're falling apart. Because they keep making garbage. So there's no court ruling on at the moment on Coate's claims. The lawsuit adds scrutiny to how Ubisoft is handling executive transitions, which is true. I mean, that's it really. There's not much else really to go into. I think it's hilarious that they're being sued. But again, like, who actually... I mean, you know, this guy tanked the company, in fairness. Although, it's not just squarely his fault. But I keep going back to this. Man alive. Over the past 5 years, bro. Garbage stuff. Garbage. So it's just interesting, isn't it? It's one of those things. You know, was he expecting just to keep failing upwards, I guess? Probably. Anyway, just thought it was worth talking about. Wanted to talk about it. Wanted to cover it.